Winning journalist Glenn Greenwald. Glenn, when you think of the city of Kiev, it's been around since about the 6th century. It was like the centerpiece of the Slavic world and reached its kind of golden age in the 10th and 12th centuries. It has a tortured history. Ukraine has a tortured history. The Russian Republic and all of what the Russian people have gone through is hideously complex. This is just one more wrinkle in what is a completely complicated and upside down situation in Eastern Europe tonight.
Yeah, it's very complex, but it's also extremely dangerous. Remember, Russia has more nuclear warheads than any other country in the world, including the United States, and each of those two countries have 20 times more than China and France. And what has been our Russia policy to avoid things like this over the last 5 years? We've done nothing in terms of Russia and the United States other than indulging this extremely unhinged conspiracy theory about Russia taking over American institutions. They made it such that it was impossible to even meet with Russian diplomats or Russian officials without being accused of treason. This climate of hostility was something a lot of us have been warning about over the last 5 years. It wasn't just that there was no evidence for that scandal. It was incredibly dangerous to play games with the relationship between the United States and Russia. And we're seeing the dangers and how dangerous that is play out tonight.
Well, Glenn, when you look back at the Steele dossier and Russia collusion and the tens of millions of dollars that were spent on that ridiculous Mueller investigation, we're paying the price right now. I think the world is paying the price, at least the world that cares about this region. We wasted an opportunity. You just heard President Trump. He wanted to work with Putin and try to avoid what people thought was kind of building over a course of many years preceding the Trump administration. He wasn't able really to do a lot. And it was a tacit admission on his part. He wasn't able to do a lot. I lay the blame at the feet of the people who tried to hound him out of office. There was Russia collusion. We're seeing it tonight, Russia and China. That's the collusion we've created.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that President Trump said that I thought was so interesting was growing up, he kept hearing, and it was the consensus of the bipartisan foreign policy class in the United States for decades, that the most dangerous thing that could happen would be an alliance between Russia and China. And President Trump ran on a campaign in 2016 of wanting better relations with Russia, constantly pointing out how dangerous a conflict like this would be and the need to avoid it, the interest of the American people to avoid it. And so now what power do we have to do anything about this incredibly complex region when Russia has not only China, but other countries aligned with it? The United States is not the sole superpower in the world. And there's basically no diplomatic relations between the United States and Russia because of the events of the last 5 years, which make the United States even more impotent in this incredibly volatile war.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Johnny and Glenn, thank you for your voice tonight.